Thanks to Bespoke Post for sponsoring this video. New subscribers get 20% off their first box. Go to bspk.me/ScreenCrush20 and enter the code ScreenCrush20 at checkout. Welcome back to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy. So, in the MCU, planets give birth to celestials, as if a planet that can make babies with humans wasn't enough.
Did you make a penis?
Dude.
What is wrong with you?
If he's a planet, how could he make a baby with your mother? He would smush her.
Eternals gave us major revelations about the MCU, and all these revelations raise gigantic questions for the future. Because what does the celestial reveal mean for Ego? He was born as a space brain that formed into a planet, and he looks nothing like the other celestials. So how come Ego is different? Was he lying, or is it a retcon? Well, I think that Ego is a new type of celestial, and it's something that could be a game changer for the MCU and set up the next endgame level event.
We gotta properly test this theory.
But there's more to it, because Marvel is seemingly taking inspiration from the Earth X storyline with the Celestials, and that means something massive, literally massive, because the Eternals might have just confirmed that Galactus is about to arrive in the MCU.
Yes!
And there's a huge connection between Galactus, Ego, and the Celestials. So let's dive into it all and talk about how the Eternals just changed the game for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm what's called a celestial, sweetheart.
A celestial like a god?
Small g, son.
Okay, so here's what we know so far. The Celestials shape life in the universe, they build and destroy planets and galaxies, and they are the creators of humanity and all other beings, so they're cosmic gods. They created the Eternals, and the bombshell is that the Eternals are robots, or cosmic androids, I guess.
I'm not amused.
But the Celestials seem to be having some problems in the baby-making department. They can't reproduce like the beings they created. Instead, they have to impregnate planets.
What?
By planting their seed on worlds across the universe. Eons ago, they did it on Earth when they planted the seed of Tiamat. The problem here is that when Celestials are born, their embryo planets hatch like eggs, meaning these worlds blow up. The Eternals saved Earth from Tiamat, but there are countless other worlds across the universe that are about to pop and give birth to new Celestials. This establishes the Celestials as the cataclysmic threat to the whole universe. But the whole hatching from a planet thing doesn't seem to be the case for every Celestial, because Ego is the exception. Ego is able to reproduce just fine. In fact, the guy could probably repopulate an entire galaxy with all the action he's getting.
Teach me.
Ego is a planet, not a metallic giant. Well, he's more like a giant cosmic brain. So why is he different from these others? Here's my idea. Ego was created by the Celestials. He's a new breed, an organic celestial and their next step of evolution.
Explain yourself.
The whole point of impregnating planets is to give birth to new Celestials, and Ego can do it without this complicated process, as proven by all his kids. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy theory, but trust me, I got evidence to support it. It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. But before that, we need to talk about why the Celestials created Ego, and the reason is Galactus. Sorry, talking about Galactus eating planets made Doug hungry, so I'm making him a snack.
What kind of knife is that?
Actually, it's a Buck and Bear with a real leather holster. Very handy, great for camping or just for cutting apples around the house.
That's cute. Where'd you get it?
Well, Doug, I'm actually glad you asked. This is actually from Bespoke Post, the sponsor of this video. Every month, Bespoke Post sends me a box of top-of-the-shelf goods. The first box I received was called the Forge. That's how I got this knife. It's durable, it's sharp, and like a good dog, always there when you need it.
I'm a good boy.
Yes, you are. And the second box they sent me was called Snap, and it has this waterproof, rugged Bluetooth speaker. It's great for camping or outdoor bonfires. It also included this Nye glow stick, great for attaching to your dog when it gets dark.
Here I am.
There you are. Every one of these boxes is worth at least $70 in retail, but only cost $45 each. They have everything from barware, clothes, live oysters, and a lot more. So here's how it works. Bespoke Post learns your interests based on a preference quiz that you fill out. You get a box assigned to you before it ships, but you get to decide if you want to keep that box, swap it for another, or skip the month altogether for no charge. I mean, you should go to the site and look at what they offer. They have a terrific selection. So we're offering Screen Crush fans a very special offer, 20% off your first box when you click the link in the description. Go to bspk.me/ScreenCrush20 or click the link in the description and enter ScreenCrush20 at checkout. Now back to Ego.
Galactus, the devourer of worlds.
Everybody knows Galactus. He's big, he's hungry, he travels the stars, consuming planets. And the Silver Surfer is his herald, tasked with finding planets for Galactus to eat. And it's only a matter of time till Galactus appears in the MCU. And after the Eternals, I think that day is coming very soon. Galactus isn't some hungry giant who devours worlds. He must feed to survive. But he's also a force of balance in the universe.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
There's more to it, but basically, Galactus is a necessary cosmic force. He's not evil, he's not good, he's like a tsunami or an earthquake, or I guess more like a supervolcano erupting and blowing up the planet. But then there's the Earth X Limited series, which shed a whole new light on Galactus and his relationship with the Celestials. Earth X shifted Galactus' purpose. He's no longer consuming random planets to survive. He targets the worlds that were seeded by Celestials. Galactus keeps the Celestials' population under control, since if they are not kept in check, their overpopulation will lead to the destruction of the universe. So Galactus travels the cosmos, devouring planets that serve as embryos for the Celestials. This makes Galactus a cosmic necessity, and because of the laws of the universe, the Celestials can't kill Galactus because his death would bring about the end of the universe.
Hey, a rule is a rule, and let's face it, without rules, there's chaos.
This shows the enormity that the heroes face when battling these cosmic gods. So it seems like Marvel are going with this Earth X direction. At least I really hope they are. If that's the case, the Eternals burst the door wide open for Galactus. The Eternals stopped Tiamat from being born on Earth, but I'm pretty sure the seed is still there, meaning it's only a matter of time till Galactus comes to eat Earth. And of course, the Avengers will stand in his way and stop him from destroying the planet. Now there's a lot more to Galactus and the threat to the universe, but before we talk about that, I want to first explain my theory for ego.
Here we go.
Galactus' presence explains why there are so very few Celestials in the MCU, because he drove the cosmic gods to near extinction. And this is the reason why the Celestials created Ego. The birth of the new Celestials is pretty messy. They need to find and seed suitable planets, then wait thousands or even millions or billions of years till the eggs hatch, all while hoping nothing goes wrong with the embryo. It's too long of a process and too risky, because Galactus is always around looking for planets to devour. The Celestials manipulate life everywhere they go. They might have even created the universe. So the next natural step is to modify themselves. And ego is their first step in evolution.
They don't need to be protected. They need to evolve.
We have to evolve. There's no room for the weak.
I guess it's like the Cylons in Battlestar Galactica. The first Cylons were made of metal, like the Celestials, but they evolved and created organic models like Ego. And like those organic Cylons, Ego can have babies with other humans. That's the alternative for thousands of years of incubation. Like the Goldblum said,
But life, finds a way.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure the Celestials are made from some godly cosmic substance and not simply metal. But in Earth X, their armor is made out of vibranium. So who knows, maybe the meteor that crashed into Wakanda was actually the seed of Tiamat. Also, organic celestial is not the best term. It's probably more like cosmic space stuff, but let's just call it organic and not get bogged down by the details. Anyway, the Celestials bioengineered Ego, but not as a seed that's meant to be planted on a world, but instead an organic brain powered by cosmic energies. They dropped him off in an empty star system and observed and studied the results, same way as they did with all the other living beings that they created and modified. So why is Ego a brain and not a seed? Well, it's a way to avert Galactus. He has the Silver Surfer searching for planets for him to devour, but a cosmic brain floating in space is safe from Galactus. And Ego is a successful experiment. He's powerful like any other Celestial, and more importantly, he can reproduce. And it's much faster and much safer.
I got a penis.
Ha! Thank you.
It's not half bad.
Okay, I admit, this is all pretty ambitious speculation, but here's the thing. Ego is not a Celestial in the comics, but he is one in the MCU. So there has to be some explanation for why Ego is so different. Why not go big and creative, huh? And yeah, there is a giant-sized hole in this theory because of Ego's plan for the universe. He planted his seeds across the galaxies, including Earth. Now this is suspicious because Tiamat's seed had already been planted there long ago.
Grow and spread, covering all that exists until everything is me.
And there's no way the other Celestials would have allowed this to happen. So in the end, the Ego experiment went terribly wrong for the Celestials because Ego almost destroyed everything they built. This is fitting. Like all stories where humans create life, the creation always turns on its creators and wipes them out. This makes the Celestials look like idiots. If not for the Guardians of the Galaxy, Ego would have ruined everything for them.
You must be so embarrassed!
But could the Celestials actually be that dumb? Or was it all part of the plan?
I'm so confused. These are confusing times.
Here's an idea. Ego was doing exactly what he was programmed to do by the Celestials. The Eternals proved that the Celestials are playing a cosmic game, using their creations as pawns. So Ego only thought that he was terraforming these planets to achieve expansion. In reality, he was terraforming those planets to create more Celestials like him, because the cosmic gods would have never allowed him to destroy what they built. They are gods after all. But why trick Ego if he's the future of the Celestials? Well, Ego is a test subject, a prototype, so that makes him unpredictable. The Celestials aren't fools, so Ego was a pawn, serving the Celestials' purpose while also being studied. Ego wasn't in contact with the other Celestials, probably because the Celestials wanted to see how he evolved without interference. The only way to improve themselves is to let Ego reveal all of his fatal flaws.
Reactor module, that's the key. That's the place I've laid my trap. It's well hidden and unstable. One blast to any part of it will destroy the entire station.
This way, the Celestials can adjust and make better organic gods. So this means that Tiamat was supposed to be born as an organic Celestial. The terraforming will mask the seed inside, hiding the planet from Galactus. The process is actually meant to turn worlds into cosmic brains, just like Ego.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
So here's how I think it works. The Celestial had enough with Galactus eating their planets, so they created Ego, and they tested his efficiency as an organic Celestial. Once they were happy with their experiment, they decided to transform their whole race into organic Celestials. So they sent Ego to the planets that were impregnated by their seed. Ego plants his own seed, and these seeds will then terraform the worlds and also transform the Celestial inside, shifting them and the whole planet into an organic Celestial like Ego. But there's more to this process, because if Galactus can't feed on the Celestial planets, he will become weaker, and that's exactly what the Celestials wanted. Galactus will be forced to feed on other planets that don't contain Celestial seeds, giving the cosmic gods a lot more time to achieve their goals without Galactus interfering in their business. And that's how we get Celestials that can have babies, who are safe from Galactus. Just imagine if the MCU dropped this Ego twist on us. People will go nuts.
Are you crazy? Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
And then there's Star-Lord, who's half Celestial, something that is another piece of the plan. Ego had a lot of kids, but Peter was the only one who inherited his father's powers. But those abilities only worked while he was on his father's planet. Well, inside his father's planet. Inside his father? What am I saying? Peter had some power even before arriving on Ego. He was able to hold the Power Stone in his bare hands without blowing up, meaning that deep down, Peter might still possess all of those Celestial abilities. So, like Wanda, all he needs is the key to unlock those powers again. And if there's one, then there must be others. I mean, if Marvel goes with this direction, it's just obvious for them to have more demigod Celestials like Peter. The humanoid children of the Celestials could replace the Eternals and protect the organic Celestials from Galactus.
There's a little pee coming out of me right now.
This just adds another layer of holy shit moments for the MCU. Just imagine if it's revealed that other heroes in the MCU are actually demigods like Peter. Tell me in the comment which heroes could be revealed as secret Celestial demigods. This sort of turns into Greek mythology, where the Olympian gods had intercourse with humans, giving birth to demigods. I guess this makes Peter the Hercules of the story.
Seems to me that what you folks need is a hero.
Yeah? And who are you?
I happen to be
Star-Lord.
Anyway, the fact that the organic Celestials can reproduce is terrible news for the universe, because when the population of cosmic gods gets out of control, all of reality collapses, and the universe goes
boom. The end. Start again.
Here, the MCU should incorporate different elements from the comics for the Celestials and Galactus. The Celestials have been around since creation itself. They create life, but they also end up destroying it. That's how the current universe was created, and also how Galactus was born. So in the comics, Galactus used to be Galen of Ta. He's the last of his kind, sort of like Thanos, and strangely enough, Superman. He tried to save his universe, but it was too late and the Celestials destroyed it. With the Big Bang, Galen was reborn as Galactus. And there's a lot of comic stuff involved, so I'm not really going to get into the whole thing right now. But the main thing is that Galactus possesses the power cosmic, which is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And with that power, he can destroy Celestials. The powers to be made Galactus into a force of cosmic balance. He's the universe's only hope from the Celestials. Yeah, it sucks that Galactus must consume whole worlds, killing trillions in the process, but stopping Galactus means that the Celestials will overpopulate and the universe will end. And that's really a great way to do Galactus.
A small price to pay for salvation.
You're insane.
Little one, it's a simple calculus.
Now you're probably wondering, why would the Celestials go through all the trouble of creating Ego if they are so powerful that their very existence can destroy universes? So why not just kill Galactus and be done with it? Well, I mentioned it earlier, in the comics, if Galactus dies, the whole multiverse ends with him. That's one of the fundamentals that make Galactus so great. So this ties into the whole multiverse direction the MCU is going for in the coming years. Sooner or later, universes will collide and all of reality will be at risk.
Each variant fighting to preserve their universe and annihilate the others.
Right now, it seems like Kang is going to be responsible, as Loki established the impending multiversal war, which is shaping up to be the MCU's Secret Wars, a massive event where all the Marvel universes collide with each other. But maybe Kang is only the beginning of the multiversal collapse, and the real endgame will happen when the Celestials will clash with Galactus. It's sort of fitting, as these cosmic gods battle in the heavens, and as the mortals try to survive the Flood, which in the MCU's case is the end of the multiverse. And the organic Celestials are the key here, as they will overpopulate the universe and cause the collapse of reality. And all of this will give us our next endgame.
This universe is finite, its resources finite. If life is left unchecked, life will cease to exist.
So yeah, I admit this theory is pretty ambitious, but I guess pregnant planets, robot Eternals, and planets that can have sex with humanoid women is also pretty far-fetched when you think about it. Not sure if the MCU will go in this direction, but if they do, it might be pretty mind-blowing and create some interesting possibilities for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what do you think? Are you yay or nay for the organic celestial theory? Which movie do you think will introduce Galactus to the MCU? Let me know down in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.